Hello, how are you doing today? Okay, so we're going to talk about organizing the chaos in your law practice today. If you don't know me, my name is Dina Cataldo. I am a master certified coach for lawyers, and I help them overcome overwhelm and do the work that really matters in their practice. Two problems that I see with lawyers and organizing their law practices is that one, they don't have the right systems in place to help them organize the chaos. And two, they don't have the brain management tools to manage their mind when it comes to their calendar. So a lot of people don't even have calendars because they think, okay, it needs to be perfect or I shouldn't do it at all. But what happens is they miss out on all the benefits of having a calendar and they get even less done than they would if they did an imperfect calendar. But that takes brain management. I don't have time in a 15-minute video to really get into all of the mind management, but in this video, I want to share with you how you can begin organizing the chaos in your law practice and creating a system that works for you to gather all of the information that we get bombarded with every single day. So, one of the things that we have to contend with is society. And right now, society has information coming out of all corners of the world, right? We have our emails, we have physical mail, we have our DMs, we have people who are just calling and leaving messages, we have text messages. We have so much input that we need to have systems to put it in an organized way so that we aren't worrying constantly about whether or not we're getting anything done. Are we missing something? Do we feel behind? Yes, right? Of course you feel behind because you haven't gathered all of the information so that you could look at it and think about it practically to prioritize it. So everything feels like it has to be done at once. Like let me know in the comments if you have this experience. Like, yes, I think everything needs to be done at once. I hear this so often from my clients. And what's happening is there's just not a system in place, one, and two, the brain management component isn't there. And that's something I work on with my clients over 6 months to get their mind, give their mind the tools to start following through on what they put on their calendar. Now, before we go any further, I want to sell you on using a calendar. Why? Number one, any system that tells you not to use a calendar is ridiculous. Because if you don't have your assignments, your tasks on a calendar, not just your hearings, but your projects, you are going to be slipping into ruminating about work all night. You will not have an organized process for your day. You will not be able to sit down at your desk and immediately know what needs to be done. You're going to be constantly thinking about, okay, what needs to be prioritized, what has to happen, because there are some systems that just say, well, just prioritize. What you have to do is actually prioritize and put it on your calendar. One of the things I teach my clients is that the calendar isn't just amazing for getting the work done, like seeing what needs to get done and not being unrealistic about how much time you have in your day, right? Because when you put it on your calendar, reality hits and you realize, oh, I can't do everything in one day. It really does need to be spread out. So that's one reason to use the calendar. The other is to help you with the mind management because when you start putting things on a calendar, your brain is going to go haywire when you see it happening, right? You're going to see something that comes up for you, like an assignment, and your brain's going to say, I don't want to do it. And you'll start to see how your brain functions with your assignments. You're going to see where you procrastinate, where you're avoiding things, where maybe you feel overwhelmed immediately when you think about them. And that is something you need to have in your back pocket so that you can overcome how you're thinking about your tasks. Because sometimes our mind puts up blocks around getting tasks done. And if you're not putting it on a calendar, you're less likely to see the signs that you are putting something off that needs to get done. So, the two problems, having the system and mind management, go hand in hand. And so the system that you want to have to start organizing your law practice chaos is to start taking all of those inputs that you get every single day from every corner of your world, whether it's a file in your inbox or your DMs or whatever it is, and you want to put them all in one place, or you want to look at them all at one time. Okay. You're also going to get inputs from having conversations with people. Hey, Maxine, can you make sure you review that file by tomorrow at 5 and come to my office and talk to me about it? Right? You're going to get those just random inputs. And what I see lawyers doing is they have post it notes, they have these long to do lists, things that never get done on the to do list. It's just this long list, and they hate looking at it. They feel like they're always behind. They set alarms on their watches, and then they feel frustrated and even resentful sometimes when those alarms go off. Like they have all these little things to try to like help them manage what's coming, all the inputs, but what you really need is one particular moment in time. I prefer my mornings to look at everything that's coming in. Okay. So whether it's messages that I'm getting in my social media channels, whether it's my emails, whether it is voicemails, whatever it is, I want to be able to come to my desk and just say, okay, I know exactly what I need to check. Let's take a look at all of this and let's like put it on my calendar. What else needs to be calendared right now? You can do that daily if you have a really like for a few minutes. Like I like to do that. It's just a really a check-in for me. And if there's a task, this is a really good rule of thumb to keep in mind for you. If there's a task that is less than 5 minutes and just like a quick step, then I go ahead and just do it right away. Like maybe it's just a quick response on my DMs or a quick email response. Done. Don't have to think about it. Now, if it takes more than 5 minutes or it is going to be multiple steps, I just put it on my calendar. I say, okay, well, I'm not going to be able to address this right now. So let me put this on my calendar so I don't have to think about it. One of the mistakes I see is that attorneys often use their email inbox as their to-do list. The problem with that is just one of many inputs. You can use that to then inform your decision about whether it goes on your calendar or whether it's a really quick response. But do not use your email inbox as your repository, your space for your to-do list because you're going to have so many different inputs. So in the morning, take like 10, 15 minutes, just check all of those little areas where you need to see if there's something that needs to be addressed, put things on your calendar that needs to get done, and then those other little things you can just respond to really quickly. One thing I want you to really take a look at is, and if you haven't downloaded the Busy Lawyer's Ultimate Time Management Guide, I highly encourage you to do so. You can get it at dinacataldo.com/busy lawyer. Inside that guide, I walk you through how to do a calendar. So I'm not going to talk about this here. What we're talking about here specifically is how to organize all of the inputs, all the info that comes to you in a way that you are not worried that you're going to miss something. So download that guide to get specific step-by-step instructions on how to run a calendar. Now, that's your daily practice, right? Like bringing all of those inputs in and just double checking, okay, what's going on in my email inbox? What's going on in my DMs, my text messages, whatever it is, making a choice between whether it's something you need to respond to because it's super quick, or if it's going to be more than 5 minutes or more than one step, you're going to put that on your calendar. You're not going to write a post-it. You're not going to do anything like that. You're just going to put it in your calendar. And then once a week, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to like go through your week, what didn't get addressed, what is currently in your inbox. You're going to use that Busy Lawyer's Guide. And one of the steps I say to take is to write everything down, everything that you need to get done. And then you prioritize and you place it on your calendar in order of priority. What I do when I am walking through my day and I want to remind myself of something is I create one space where I check daily and then again weekly to make sure that I'm addressing everything that I want to address in my business. So what that looks like is I'll email myself, oh, Remember to contact Susie about upcoming webinar, right? So I will email myself that. And then every morning and every week, I have the exact same spot that I check for tasks that I want to get done. I don't write post-its. I used to do that. It was a nightmare. I had post-its all over my desk when I was a lawyer. It was so frustrating. I even had some when I first started my coaching practice. And like I would jot down a note. I'm like, nope, that is not how I work anymore because it clutters your desk, one. And two, you just start to collect them and the things get missed. Okay, same thing when you have piles on your desk and you're using those to remind yourself to do something. I have also done that. When we do that, we're just like having this subconscious signal to our brain that we have a ton to do. And so we have that thought in the back of our head and we start really ruminating about work and then we want to procrastinate because we don't want to do it. It's like that deer in the headlights when we feel overwhelmed. So having stacks on your desk isn't super helpful either. That's the mind management piece. We talk about that. Like if you're creating those stacks and you're having a hard time unwinding that, that's something that we can work on in coaching. But what I want you to know is that this is doable. I want you to know that this is very simple. You can do this. And one of the things that I see that mistakes that lawyers make is they want to hire somebody on to do this. They want to hire somebody to organize their life. I know it sounds fabulous, right? But if you don't know the back end of your business, then you are going to be just as lost. Things are going to fall through the cracks. You're going to be worried that your assistant isn't doing everything. It's up to you to create the systems for your business and then to teach your assistant how to do it. Like we think an assistant should come in and just fix our problems. Assistants come in because they're there to assist us, but they can't assist us if we haven't created systems to give to them to then implement. They're not going to be able to solve all of your problems. So the very first step is to just say, okay, how do I create systems within my law practice to organize the chaos? Because I don't want an assistant or an associate to walk into a messy practice and expect them to solve my problems. No, I'm going to take responsibility for my problems and I'm going to handle it. That's what I recommend to you if you have the thought that you have to hire somebody to fix your problems. So, that's what I really wanted to address to you is this organizational piece, bringing all of these inputs into one place, looking at it daily and then again weekly to review your week and see what you want to get done the next week that needs to get done. And every single morning, just taking like 10-15 minutes to go to those places where you have inputs and making a decision. Is it less than 5 minutes? And one step, easy step to respond, or is it something that needs to get done over a longer period of time that has multiple steps? Do I need to break that project down into smaller pieces so then I can calendar each of those pieces? And again, download that Busy Lawyer's Guide if you want to get that. DinaCataldo.com/busy lawyer, and that will help you out. Now, that's one part of the problem, right? Getting a system, starting to really look at what the reality of your day is, what the reality of your work is. The second piece is mindset. The second piece is brain management. So if you're procrastinating, avoiding, if you notice that you feel overwhelmed and can't even think about your calendar, you get that deer in the headlights feeling, that's where the brain management piece comes in. If you find yourself really stuck there, I want you to book a strategy session with me. Go to dinacataldo.com/strategy session to talk to me because we will talk about your next steps in working with a coach, me, so that you can go to the office, feel organized, and not be worried about work all of the time, things falling through the cracks. You don't have to have a law practice that you hate, right? So many lawyers think that they need to maybe work part-time or hire somebody or leave the law entirely or change practices because they feel so overwhelmed and stressed with the amount of work that comes in, sometimes last minute, right? And I help you deal with the mind drama that comes up when you have those emergencies, right? When you have something that knocks something off of your calendar. And I will help you get the tools that you need to start feeling that calm and peace in your practice. Because imagine being able to step into your practice and think, wow, look how organized I am. I'm so glad I did this for myself. What a great investment I made in myself to feel good about stepping into my office every day. And look how I'm able to handle my assistant and handle my associates and handle my clients because I'm so organized. I'm not missing appointments. I'm showing up on time for everything. I'm getting things done. I go home and I'm present with my family. I'm not ruminating about work or talking about work the whole day. Like what I want and what this is what I'm thinking for you, right, is to feel that peace in my practice. And you can have that. So book a call with me. Go to dinacataldo.com/strategy session, and we will get a game plan in place for you. All right, my friend, I will talk to you soon. Bye.